Hello everyone, welcome. This is a clip about structure for the TOEFL test. Structure section is section 2. Remember, TOEFL test is divided into mainly 3 sections, but sometimes there is a 4th section, which is the test of written English. But here in Latin America, so far it isn't being taken into account for the score. So this is good somehow, because it means you don't have to prepare that much for writing as well. But section 2 regarding grammar is sometimes one of the most difficult for people who are not familiar to grammar. But let me give you a tip. If it sounds wrong, probably it is wrong. The first time I took TOEFL test, I didn't know much about grammar, or well, I knew how to speak the language, but I had no idea about the topics and how to explain them because they were natural for me. So I took a TOEFL test, and I have to tell you that I did pretty well. It was very fair, and it was because my instinct at recognizing correct English guided me. And actually, that's what's going to help you. Section number 2, or the structure test, it's divided from questions 1 to 16 into gaps that you have to fill in, and the second part, which goes from the next questions up to question number 40, it's about recognizing the mistake in the sentence. For some people, finding the mistake in a sentence that looks correct, it's the hardest. We're going to see both, but this is going to be quite a long video if I go over the 40 questions. I promise I will do one of the exams completely, but it will be for a live session, and it's going to be very, very soon. So far, let me show you. What you have in the TOEFL test is this. It's the structure diagnostic pretest. Well, this is just as you will see in an ITP, which is the institutional test. And the format in section 2, after you've taken the listening test, you will have the next 25 minutes for taking the structure and written expression test. The directions are, well, you have to read carefully. It says here, questions 1 to 15, not 16, 1 to 15, incomplete sentences. This is the part where you have to fill in the gaps with the right option. I'm going to jump on the options right now. Let's see the first example. It says, the president, and then that's your subject, the election by a landslide. All right? What we do here is grammar recognition, and also one we call the discrimination technique. This is try every option. You go with A, the president won the election by a landslide. Okay, maybe. Let's go on B. Never jump to conclusions until you have gone over the 4 sections. B, the president, he won the election by a landslide. Okay, we can find the problem here because the president is the subject, so you don't need he in the sentence, or you will double the subject, which is a mistake. So we can say letter B is not the right choice. The president yesterday, the election by a landslide. Yesterday is a time expression, so we don't need it here. What we need is a verb. And letter D, fortunately, well, this is an adverb. The president fortunately the election by a landslide. Okay, so neither B nor C nor D are right options. So the best choice here is letter A. But this is pretty easy in this sentence. But there are some which get a little bit harder. But this is the same strategy. It's the same analysis that you have to go through to determine whether you're picking the right choice or not. So the right answer is letter A. You're going to be given an answer sheet, and what you have to do is that you have to color letter A, well, the oval for letter A on your answer sheet, to indicate that is the answer you've chosen. Be careful at coloring. It has to be totally colored without exceeding the limit and without leaving it blank. If you decide to erase an answer, then you have to be very careful because most of the times, well, nowadays, the marking of the tests is automatic. So they use scanners. And if you mark both answers, like you picked A and D, as for instance, well, you can make that to appear as a wrong answer, even though you've chosen the right one, but you didn't erase well, so you're going to get a wrong result. So erase carefully, mark carefully, so that you're indicating here that you're picking the right answer. Let's go to example number 2. It says, when the conference, all right, so we have a when, which is a WH word, and then the conference will be like a direct object, so we need an element there. We need many elements, actually. We need a verb, and we need to find out what the subject is. If you have a sentence with no subject, that's incorrect. If you have a sentence without a verb, that's incorrect as well. So you have to make sure a sentence has at least one subject and at least one verb. So we say, the doctor attended. All right, if that is a question, it would sound like, when the doctor attended the conference. It doesn't sound like the right structure for the simple past. Let's jump on letter B. When did the doctor attend? Well, we have the right auxiliary, we have the subject, which is the doctor, and we have the verb in the base form. This is important because when we have an auxiliary in the sentence, the verb is affected by not changing the form. So maybe letter B, maybe, but remember I said you have to go over the other choices as well to make sure you're picking the right option for your answer. Letter C, the doctor will attend. Okay, read. When the doctor will attend the conference, it's a structural mistake. If we want to make it in future to make it sound right, we would say, when will the doctor? All right, because this is not an indirect question. So letter C, it's not the answer either. Letter D, the doctor's attendance. Okay, the doctor's attendance might be taken as a subject. So when the doctor's attendance the conference, but we don't have a verb. So the right answer here is letter B, as indicated here. But I'm telling you why. This is the part that you have to pay attention to. The process of discriminating every option to make sure you're picking the right answer, and also being sure of why is that you're picking that answer, because it's not just saying A, B, C, D. You need to tell me why. Why are you saying that is the right answer and not the others? So the right answer is B, because then you will create a sentence that reads, when did the doctor attend the conference? So this is what you have to do all over the 40 questions. Well, basically the 40 questions, but the first 15 questions are the ones where you have to choose what goes into each of the sentences. So to finish this short video, I'm going to give you this. Number 1, it reads the North Pole, gap, a latitude of 90 degrees north. So which one would you pick? A, B, C, or D? Number 2, the city of Beverly Hills is surrounded on the city of Los Angeles. Number 3, the Greyhound can achieve speeds up to 36 miles per hour. And let's go for one more. Number 4, marmots spend the time foraging among meadow plants and flowers or on rocky cliffs. Stay tuned, subscribe, and follow me for checking the answers to these questions, because I'm going to let you know why the answer is the answer, why the right answer is the right answer, so that you are sure whenever you decide to go take your TOEFL test that you're going to ace it and that you're going to get that score that you need or that score that you're willing for. This is Cisco English, and I am your friend, and I'm going to help you with some TOEFL strategies in my videos.